and the ousted president's hometown. At least one person was killed, 17 others injured. This as Secretary of State John Kerry meets with the Russian foreign minister in London. That meeting is still going on. The goal is to find some resolution to the international standoff over Crimea before a vote Sunday to determine whether Crimea will succeed and join the Russian Federation. If the effort fails, the President and Secretary of State say that the United States will take swift action. And now reports that there is great concern inside the White House about how Russia might react. The Daily Beast publishing this headline today: White House braces for Russian retaliation over Ukraine. Elliott Abrams is a senior fellow at the Council of Foreign Relations and the former Deputy National Security Advisor for President George W. Bush. So, Elliott, you've been inside the White House when a lot has happened. What is the White House bracing for?
Well, they're afraid, I think, that any sanctions we impose may lead Putin to hurt some American companies that are invested in Russia, and maybe that he would go further into eastern Ukraine with troops. Putin's trying to scare us, and I'm actually unhappy, disappointed that he seems to be succeeding, not in the State Department, but he seems to be scaring people in the White House.
Rightfully so, or not?
Well, I don't think so. I mean, look, our country, twice the population of Russia, our economy is many times greater. He's got an economy that depends on one thing, which is sale of oil and gas. For us to be afraid of him economically is really quite bizarre. Yeah, there might be some American companies that whose interests in Russia are hurt. They probably shouldn't have invested in Russia anyway, because it's a lawless country. But we can't have our foreign policy determined by a few companies that are going to have some investments marked down. This is really a serious moment for the future of Europe.
This Daily Beast article written by Josh Rogan detailed some of the bigger items that we've been working on with Russia. Some of them include the route into Afghanistan that our military uses. Also, in addition to that, what's going on in Syria, trying to make sure that Syria's chemical weapons are destroyed, and of course the nuclear deal still in the works potentially with Iran. Those are big issues, Elliott, 10,000 feet. For the average American, is there anything that Russia could do that would affect our daily lives in retaliation for anything that we do to them?
No, not really. I mean, on the things you mentioned, you know, our commander in Afghanistan, General Dunford, has said we don't need the Russians to continue our withdrawal. In Syria, 70% of the chemical weapons are still in Syria, so they're not even keeping that deal. No, I don't think Americans need to worry about this at all. What we need to worry about is that American credibility in the whole world, in Asia with China, in the Middle East, in Europe, can be destroyed if the Russians commit this kind of aggression, and we don't even impose sanctions.
In the Wall Street Journal today, it detailed the requests coming from Ukraine for help from the United States. And this was help asked of the Pentagon. And it included a long list that is ammunitions, arms, communication gear, intelligence support, aviation fuel, night vision goggles, along with other items, Elliott. We have decided to give them MREs, which are just meals ready to eat, but none of the items. Is that a bad decision, good decision right now? When you talk about putting our efforts into the right places, what should we be doing when it comes to Ukraine?
I think that we should wait on that until Sunday and see what Putin does. But I think that we should, I hope that Kerry is telling Lavrov today, look, if you push into East Ukraine, the Ukrainians are going to fight, and we are going to be giving them some military assistance. I think we should, be making the Russians a little bit afraid of us, not just vice versa.
Elliott, always great to see you. Thank you very much.
Jenna.
Just want to point out to our viewers, maybe we can bring up the live picture.